Intersection collisions are the majority of all vehicle collisions that we attend to. These calls can range from anywhere from 20 minutes to several hours for us to conclude. When we arrive on scene, there's a lot of different things that we have to do. We have to secure the scene so no further injuries will happen to ourselves and to the patients on scene. We need to check around the vehicle, under and on the vehicle, for hazards that are associated with that. We have to assess the damage of the vehicle. We also have to refer to a computer now to assess the vehicle information to see what kind of things we can and can't do to that vehicle. We formulate a rescue plan. We have to gain access to the patient a lot of times to get them out. We have to, at that point, assess the patient's needs to see what life-threatening injuries need to be dealt with right away and what can wait. Once we remove the patient from the vehicle, we need to do that without causing any further injuries, which is sometimes difficult to do. Once a patient is moved to our ambulances, we treat for non-life-threatening injuries at that time. We then have to decide whether we're transporting to the nearest trauma center or the local hospital, depending on their injuries. We also have to stay on scene as fire services until the police services finish their investigation to deal with those type of incidences. And then we have to remove any collision debris that's left on scene so the streets are safe for the rest of the people out there. Motor vehicle manufacturers are making cars with more safety features than ever before. The major drawback of this, however, is that emergency responders are encountering more and more dangers from these safety features for the occupants. There are more sensors, airbags, and detonators for those airbags that are injuring responders every year. We can no longer just use the jaws of life or hydraulic tools to pry patients out of their vehicles. We now, as I stated before, have to refer to a computer system to research the type of vehicle, the year of the vehicle. It tells us how long after we disconnect the car batteries it's safe to now work with the airbags. So it's safe for our staff to now enter the vehicles at that point. If we accidentally cut into one of those detonators, it can cause serious injuries or kill the providers that are rescuers that are there on scene trying to provide emergency services. Only with the new higher pressure jaws of life that are out in the last couple of years are we now able to cut through some of these newer vehicles. At these pressures that we're using on these new high pressure systems, things can go wrong fast and injuries for the rescue people range from severe to death as well. Aside from the collision itself, the other drivers on the road present some of our biggest hazards. They get annoyed with the traffic delays caused by their motor vehicle collisions and the safety measures that we have to take to protect ourselves. Our work-related collisions does not end at the scene. In fact, the aftermath of the collision can follow us for quite some time, from the first response to fulfilling our paperwork and legal obligations, and for testifying up to 1 year later in court for those collisions. It's awful to see the victims suffering and the lives changed when, in reality, most of these collisions can be prevented. So please drive safely, and thank you for coming.